Welcome to Christian Statesman. I'm your host, Zach Wagner, and this is episode 128. Disneyland is over. I quite enjoy listening to voices who have been at the front lines of the moral and economic battle that has defined our country over the last half century or more. When I came out of college, we had just entered the Reagan years. Our country was devastated from years of irresponsible fiscal policy and poor leadership. The 20+% interest rates of the Carter era were a grim reminder how bad things could get. I was searching in a difficult job market for the average guy. While Wall Street was about to explode and take over the world, the average Joe paycheck was having a tough time. In those days, I knew something was not right in the system. In my enthusiastic youth, it was tough to identify. There were plenty of cries about the man or the system or the rich. None of these typical epithets seemed to describe what I inherently felt through spiritual perception. The whole game was off somehow. I just did not know how precisely and in what manner my feelings and reality failed to coincide. Nearly 40 years later, the answers still come in waves, and they are shocking. High-level experts like Catherine Austin Fitts, Mike Adams, Juan O'Savin, or the late Robert David Steele provide helpful insights. In the late 40s, after post-World War II global realignment, a new world was born. Behind the veil of secrecy, new technologies and untold new wealth were instituted in parallel to the world the majority of us live and function in. Essentially, civilization split into two paths. The illusory everyday world we live in, where we, the average citizen, are allowed to share in part of the prosperity and progress, and a confidential world behind the walls of secrecy where governments and militaries began to amass untold wealth and power. And they do it not in the name of democracy, but in the name of a privileged cadre of enlightened elites. We now live in a time where the elites have amassed so much power and wealth that they are weary of allowing us to share in the spoils any longer, even if to a small degree, and are boldly moving to take over and control everything. I've been given metaphysical insight into how these people think. They view the everyday populations of the world as an infestation, a conglomeration of useless eaters that are burning up the resources of the planet they consider exclusively theirs. We are destroying their posterity's inheritance, and they are tired of allowing us to prosper and exist while harming the future of the more enlightened among us. The arrogance and pure evil of such perspective is breathtaking. The economic world we live in and have lived in since the 50s is like Disneyland. If we visit Disneyland, we enjoy the park's rides and features and believe we are experiencing the real Disneyland. But the real Disneyland is underground, in a maze of subterranean tunnels, working rooms, and power facilities filled with employees that actually allow the exhibits above ground to function. Such is the world we now live in, where the elites who have allowed our fantasy attractions to amuse us for some time are coming out of the tunnels to shut down the operation. The real power, after all, is with those who control the rides. But this disassembling must be done slowly, quietly, and carefully. We outnumber them greatly, after all, and they are recruiting us to build the walls of our own prison, encouraging us to participate in our own demise. Disneyland is over, but those coming up out of the tunnels do not look like Morlocks. They look like friendly, helping caretakers who continue to assuage us with the rhetoric of safety and security. They are all for a better and safer society. That is, until the trap is closed. If all of this sounds crazy, just look at what those in power are actually doing, not what they say. Vaccine mandates, passports, persecution of politically incorrect agendas, economic malfeasance on a national scale, and other impositions flow before us daily. A Representative Rabb in Pennsylvania just introduced a bill to limit the age and number of children citizens of the state can have. There was a time not long ago when such legislative overreach would be considered beyond outrageous, and anyone even suggesting such a thing would be run out of office by his own contemporaries. Now it is business as usual for anyone on the left. Slowly, the control grid of the elite is being overlaid upon our current reality. They will shutter the rides in Disneyland one by one until the entire place is darkened forever. Our problem is that we like Disneyland a lot. It has been good for us and our families to live in a happy, Disney-like pseudo-reality for so long. Are we prepared when that reality suddenly changes and the lights go out? That is what is being foisted on us as we speak, all in the name of a great global reset and a new world order that will save the planet once and for all. But saving it is not for the masses, but for the enlightened, so-called. Expect the world they envision saving not to include you and I in it. Be prepared to have our reality shattered. Disney was never completely real from its inception, after all. Thank you for being with us. Please subscribe, and as always, we hope you have a very blessed day.